Today, we're diving into a world where surgery isn't just about following a procedure, it's about invention, it's about artistry, and it's about solving problems that seem totally impossible. We're going deep into the incredible field of reconstructive surgery.
So our journey starts with this group that actually calls themselves the Crazy Surgeons. Now, don't let that name fool you. They're not reckless. They're visionaries. You can see it right in their mission statement. They're a global community that's all about pushing the absolute limits of what's possible, sharing ideas so new, so out there that, yeah, they might just seem a little crazy.
All right, let's kick things off with a problem that really captures their whole mindset: replacing a thumb. I mean, it's something most of us just take for granted, right? But for a reconstructive surgeon, this is one of the ultimate tests of their skill and creativity.
Just think about it for a second. Holding your phone, gripping a coffee cup, writing a note, pretty much every complex thing our hands do, the thumb is the star player. It's the anchor of our dexterity. Losing one is absolutely devastating, and rebuilding it, well, that takes a level of creativity that goes way beyond any standard textbook.
And right here, a solution from Professor Bislev shows this innovative thinking in action. So the traditional way might involve using a toe or an index finger in these really complex hours-long operations. But Professor Bislev's method, it uses the ring finger. And look at the difference. The surgery time plummets to about 90 minutes, it demands way less intensive microsurgical skill, and it does all this while preserving the key functions of the hand. It's a total game changer.
That thumb reconstruction is actually a perfect doorway into a much bigger concept, what's called the art of the flap. This is, without a doubt, the fundamental tool for any reconstructive surgeon. You can think of them as engineers, really, but their building material is living human tissue.
So, what in the world is a flap? Well, it's not just a simple skin graft. A flap is an entire section of tissue. We're talking skin, fat, sometimes even muscle, that gets moved from a donor spot to a recipient spot with its own plumbing, its own arteries and veins, still connected. This is what keeps the tissue alive. It's basically a living, self-sustaining puzzle piece you can relocate to rebuild almost anything on the body.
And the evolution of this technique is just incredible. It's perfectly embodied by the 40-year journey of Professor Isao Koshima. You see, this wasn't one single invention. It was a constant, gradual process of refinement, from using large back muscles to creating these ingenious flow-through flaps that can act like a bridge for blood supply, and even banking spare tissue for later use. Just brilliant.
And this stuff isn't just theoretical. It has a huge, real-world impact. The data backs it up. In a study of his cases over nearly 3 years, more than a quarter of them achieved excellent outcomes. Now, in the world of severe, really complex reconstructions, a number like that represents an incredible level of success and, more importantly, a restored quality of life for these patients.
But, moving these big flaps of tissue is really only half the battle. The real magic, the part that makes it all work, happens at a scale that's almost impossible to even imagine. We need to zoom in, way in, to the microscopic level.
Honestly, this is the best way to think about microsurgery. Just try to picture sewing something with thread that's thinner than one of your own hairs. And you're sewing pipes that are so small you can barely even see them. It is an art of extreme precision, incredible dexterity, and a whole lot of patience.
And the challenges here are just immense. It's not as simple as just connecting an artery and a vein. It's about meticulously, carefully rebuilding nerves to bring back sensation and function. It's about adapting on the fly because every single patient's internal anatomy is unique. And you're constantly fighting against the body's natural tendency to form fibrosis, this thick scar tissue that can completely ruin a delicate nerve repair. And this is where Professor Koshima made another huge leap forward. See, a traditional nerve graft is kind of like planting a seed and just hoping the soil around it has enough nutrients. Koshima's approach is to bring the nutrient-rich soil with the seed by creating a vascularized nerve graft that has its very own tiny, dedicated blood supply. He dramatically improves the chances of regeneration and cuts down on that harmful scarring. So when you put all of this together, the creative problem solving, the tissue engineering, the microscopic precision, you start to realize this field is so much more than a science. It's a constantly evolving art form, one that really relies on human intuition just as much as it does on technical knowledge.
And that's a point these surgeons make again and again. You can read every book in the library, but true mastery only comes from experience. It's that ability to adapt in the middle of a procedure when you discover a patient's anatomy doesn't match the diagrams. It's the intuition to know what will work in a situation no textbook could ever prepare you for.
And this is a perfect example of that artistry in action. This idea of anatomical complementary systems is basically recognizing that the human body is redundant.
It has backups built in. A master surgeon doesn't just know the main highway for blood flow, they know all the back roads. They can actually read the body's map and find an alternate route when the main one is totally blocked.
And of course, this art form just keeps evolving. These surgeons are already looking to the future, talking about how AI could be used to analyze massive amounts of surgical data. This could help them identify patterns and refine techniques, blending that human artistry with the incredible power of machine learning.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? We've seen surgeons turn a finger into a thumb, move living tissue around like a master sculptor, and operate on a scale almost too small to comprehend. As this incredible blend of science and pure artistry keeps advancing, it just makes you wonder, what impossible problem are they going to solve next? Thanks for joining me.